Central Michigan at Syracuse is the biggest game of college football, week 3 for me. And why is that? Well, it's because Steve from collegefootballwinning.com is going to give us an analysis of the game and a free pick on. Of course, Steve went 10-1 against the spread for free with us last year in videos, and he is back this year. He's going to give us more free picks, and his chosen game this week, Central Michigan at Syracuse. So listen up, listen up, listen up. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com, so happy that you are back with us to give us free picks. Syracuse and Central Michigan is the game you chose this year. Syracuse right now is a 7.5-point favorite. This line has taken a move. It was 5 to start the week. Now it's all the way up to 7.5. Syracuse 2-0 against the spread so far this year. And of course, last year Syracuse crushed Central Michigan 40-3. My sense on this game, when I first looked at it, was I was kind of leaning towards the over. Right now, the total's 44.5, and Greek does have a lean right now. 45 is their number, so the Greek appears to have a lean towards the over. But Steve from collegefootballwinning.com, we're all ears. We're listening closely. Why'd you pick this game, and what play do you recommend?
Thank you, Peter. I am so pleased to be back. Why did I pick this game? There are a few good reasons, I think, at this time in the week. And you know, I'm always interpreting data, and I think that my greatest strength is interpreting betting data. So that is fluid right up until kickoff, more or less. But I think I have good reasons right now to like the Central Michigan side. And let me just start by saying Central Michigan's strength is clearly their passing offense. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because they have a former passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach who is now their offensive coordinator. Another reason their passing offense is their strength is, of course, their dynamic quarterback, Cooper Rush, super experienced. For all the returning quarterbacks from 2014, Cooper Rush is the 6th best quarterback in terms of quarterback rating and the 14th best in the entire FBS in terms of completion percentage. And by all indications, it only looks like he's gotten better this year. But what about facing Syracuse and their passing defense? Well, right now, Syracuse's pass defense allows a lot of passing yards, at least from what we can tell so early in the season. Last week, Wake Forest passed for 373 yards. Putting that into perspective, Peter, the last time Wake Forest passed for at least 373 yards versus an FBS opponent was 6 years ago, so 2009. Now, why is this Syracuse passing defense suspect? Well, one of the reasons could be that just 5 of their 7 back 7 are underclassmen. So the secondary is inexperienced. More or less, they have a lot of inexperience at the linebacker position. But this is an opportunistic back 7, and that leads to turnovers. So turnover margin. Syracuse leads the FBS, leads the nation in turnover margin. Through just 2 games so far, they're +6, Peter, in turnover margin. Now, you and I have talked about this for years. If you are depending on turnovers for points, I would call that false hope because turnovers are devastating, but they're also so terribly unpredictable. They're some of the least predictive It's one of the least predictive statistical categories that is so critical to the outcome of a game. So last week, the entire Syracuse offense, for example, was outgained by Wake's passing offense alone. And Central Michigan is bringing in an even better passing offense. So I like the way that matches up. Now, quantitatively, getting back to why did I pick this game? Quantitatively, and by that I mean power ratings related, I'm seeing lots of perceived, quote-unquote, value on Syracuse, a lot of it. And that is odd because, as you said last year, Syracuse just throttled Central Michigan in Mount Pleasant, as you said, 40-3. So what's different about this year? Central Michigan has a new tough head coach and head coach John Bonamigo. They finally figured out, I think, that they have a true star in tight end Ben McCord. Syracuse, in terms of getting pressure on the passer, they lost 57.41% of their sacks from last year, including their sack master linebacker Cameron Lynch, who's now in the NFL. I think he plays for the St. Louis Rams. And finally, human nature, Peter. Beating Central Michigan last season 40-3 and then having to play, Syracuse has to play LSU next week. I think that's going to take a toll on the psychological disposition of these young Syracuse players or a young team, especially on defense. As of today's Syracuse press conference with Coach Schaefer, he says that their center, Rob Trudeau, is a game-time decision. He was banged up at Wake Forest last week. That's a big deal, Peter, because with the freshman quarterback taking over for experienced quarterback Terrell Hunt, who's gone for the season, Eric Dungy, he's under center now. Trudeau, so that center who's a game-time decision, he was asked, and did it very well, to call out the coverage so that they could take some of that stress off of that young quarterback. Eric Dungy's just getting his second start here. And if that center is not going, we're definitely going to have some confusion calling out the coverage there up front. So my conclusion, as of right now, Peter, and it could change, which is why our clients haven't heard anything about this game yet, and they won't until Saturday. But I like the Central Michigan side getting at least 7.5 points.
All right, Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. Obviously, we all trust you implicitly. Why then do you think the line took such a significant move? It was 5 when I first analyzed this game earlier in the week. Now it's 7.5.
Like I said, when it comes to the quants, so the people who have come out with power ratings, by and large, think that Syracuse should be favored by a lot more here in this spot. Mm-hmm. So if you were just looking at typical power ratings, or if you're doing your own power ratings, you're probably looking at this and saying, Syracuse should be favored by a lot more. Therefore, let's bet the Syracuse side. And true to form, Syracuse is getting 2/3 of the public betting action right now as we're recording this. So I think they're falling right into line with those expectations, and I think that's just wrong.
So, Steve, your analysis here then sounds like it's a little bit contrarian to both the public side of things and possibly the sharp side of things as well.
I personally wouldn't judge the sharp side of things this early in the week. But if it turns out that way, so be it. I have no problem going against what other people call the perceived sharps in college football.
All right, Steve, we got it. Central Michigan right now plus 7.5 is the market-wide line on that one. And, Steve's top plays every week go at his website, collegefootballwinning.com. Of course, he can only give us his, second-tier plays, although last year his second-tier plays were good enough to go 10-1 against the spread for free in our videos. Steve, tell us what your website, collegefootballwinning.com, is all about for someone who's watched this video, wants to go there and sign up.
Okay, if you're watching and you're seeing this for the first time you're hearing about collegefootballwinning.com, all we do is college football betting analysis all year round, even in the off season, which is, I think, where we make our most important judgments are done in the off season. I spend a good deal of this off season speaking to university audiences about the use of analytics in sports betting. You go to our website, you'll see that we're a company that's founded on making betting recommendations algorithmically using algorithmic sets. Those algorithms we call our formula. The formula, the lifetime of this company, is 62.75 against the spread. It was an even 60% against the spread last season. It was 66.18% against the spread the season before that. We offer a 100% money-back guarantee on the entire season. So if you go and you get coupon code, or I'm going to give you, the coupon code is SBR10. That's SBR10. Go to collegefootballwinning.com, enter SBR10. You'll get 10% off of any membership that we're currently offering. And our formula has not started yet this season, even though we're already off to a 66.67% against the spread start to the season. The formula has yet to start. We have yet to accumulate sufficient data.
Sounds great, Steve. Thanks so much. Talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much, Peter.